The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
At the dawn of the 22nd century, humanity reached new heights of technology and spread themselves throughout the solar system. Eventually, even the mind could be uploaded into digital format. This, combined with advances in medical 3D printing, allowed for replacing entire bodies when age or injury became too severe. Not content with near immortality, humanity began uplifting other sentient animals and even experimenting with artificial intelligence. It was one of these experiments that gave rise to the first artificial superintelligences, dubbed Titans. No one knows exactly how long the Titans watched and waited, but when they finally revealed themselves, it was to bring ruination upon their creators. In the war that followed, 95% of all life was destroyed, and humanity was forced to abandon their radioactive homeworld. Now, 10 years after the fall, the Titans have abruptly disappeared, leaving humanity and their creations to rebuild and to question. Did we bring this upon ourselves? And if so, have we learned enough to not repeat our past mistakes?
Because it's literally like, whose line is it anyway? Where the points don't matter, where the choices didn't matter. It's okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our McStabber Studios Eclipse Phase 2nd Edition, Fragments of Self. I am the GM tonight, Shanky McStabber.
I am Psychshire, playing Sangrexi.
Hello, I'm Beetle Spock, and I'll be playing Fen, the Financial Evaluation Network.
I'm Merriward, and I am playing Kadath.
I'm Arian, and I am playing Tolfrin Davies.
Hey everyone, I'm Glaciate. I'm playing Moho as Rocklash.
Good evening, I am Cal, and I will be playing Roglary Gangsi II.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming to what is going to be the finale of our Eclipse Phase miniseries. When we were last with this motley crew, they had a series of visions, found out that the ship that they were pursuing, Junket Howe, never did reach Derlanga Schwantz. So they had to go and backtrack along the flight path, hoping to find out where it was and why it never made it there. Thankfully, as we got towards the close of the episode, they did manage to find the wreckage of the ship. Well, it's mostly intact. It's had its engines blown off, where it's docked to a pirate ship that both are dead in space. No power, no life, no heat. Obviously, it's been there a while because it's lost all the heat that would have been in it. It's radiated to space, even though space is very slow to radiate heat. But as we open up, we're opening up tonight, as we have with the other episodes, with a bit of a news report. This is a special underground report from the Barsunian Free Mars movement. Turns out the troubles at Paradise Station weren't caused by anarchist scum swarms or societal malcontents at all. I know our subscribers out there are going to find this shocking to learn, but Cognite themselves are behind the Paradise Poontoonery. The Barsunian Free Mars movement has received sensitive Cognite data that shows that they restarted the Futura project, this time by using accelerated time virtual reality to try to accomplish their immoral and unethical crimes. This heinous crime would have gone undiscovered if not for some of the lost ones managing to transfer their egos to some hacked morphs that were kept at a secondary storage warehouse. At this time, Cognite Security is unsure if any of the lost ones managed to get off the station, but it's put out a warning to all citizens to be on the lookout for egos who are exhibiting sociopathic or psychotic behavior. You know, if you ask us, you're going to find that behavior in almost every member of the Planetary Consortium. This is the Barsunium Free Mars Movement. We'll see you next time. And the news broadcast cuts off. You all were headed to the docking bay between your ship and Junket Howe had the most accessible of the docking ports. You know there's no atmosphere, there's no power. Now, a number of you used a flex point so that you could make sure you had your environment suits so that you could go out into the vacuum of space. Finn, you've switched to your synth morph so that you don't have to be physically, or you don't have to worry about any kind of space things. And because the mesh is off, you don't have to worry about somebody carrying your server itself. I'm going to assume, Competence, you are bringing your medium pistols with you.
Confirm.
Okay, that's a good plan. I don't think you need your fake IDs, though, do you?
No, our pistols will be our IDs.
Probably.
So as you're stepping in,
so
it opens the airlock. And yes, it is completely devoid of air. You can see the cycle on the far side. As soon as yours closes, when it pumps out the air, there's nothing as you get to the doors. The doors don't even open on their side. The control panel there is completely dead. I need to look. Anyone have any special gear with them? I need to look at what equipment you all have. There's something I'm looking for, but I can't mention it. Because if I mention it, then y'all will know, and then, it breaks the secret. See here. I don't think anyone has it, but I'm going to check. No, that wouldn't.
I have a
You're in your
particular-
Theseus right now, if I'm remembering right, Mohel, right? Yep, your Theseus. Good to know. Let me see what you have. Nano detector. Yeah. Now, the only one that might have it might be down here. Talfrin and his crasher.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cloak, if that would assist.
Nope. Okay, nope. Nobody has anything like that. It's good to know. Okay. You'll find out later. You've got to get the doors open. There's several ways you could go about it. You could attempt to manually open the airlock. You could run a power cord from your ship to the airlock, splice it in to power the lock automatically. It's up to you all. You might even be able to attempt, if you really want to be brave, attempt to run a cord from your ship to the Junket Howe to power the ship up by feeding it off of yours.
So you're
Don't really want to
with
take it.
hot wires.
I think what Moho is going to actually attempt is utilizing his knowledge of electronics to see if there's any safety mechanism that can be pulled from the outside to open it, assumingly to maintenance and things like that.
There's digging into your memory of this kind of stuff. There's usually, especially on these bulk freighters, there's a panel you can remove that should be able to get you to a manual latch of some sort. That'll unlatch the door. You're still going to have to push it open with sheer force. But with 6 of you, you should be able to get enough force to push it open once you get it unlatched. It is a safety item. In case the ship lost power, you want to be able to evacuate people from the ship.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and find that latch.
Okay. A couple of you have multi-tools. I know Talfrin even has one. I just saw it on the sheet. It only takes you a few minutes to pull off some screws and pull open a plate that has behind it is basically a large lever that you can throw that unlatches the airlock inside. And when you flip the lever, there's a clang that echoes through the whole ship. It's not really a sound, it's a feel. You know what it feels like. There's no air inside, so of course the sound itself doesn't travel, but you know a clang feel in your feet.
Looks at everyone else. All right. Time to put our arms to work.
I
Let's see.
do believe so.
Let's try opening it. Keep an eye out for booby traps.
It takes some work. You can feel the metal grinding. But you get the airlock door open. And as you open this airlock door, you're in a corridor. Stuff is floating on the corridor, caught in the zero gravity. There's paper, bits of cloth. A snack bar even goes by.
Opened or not?
Half eaten.
Yes.
Ship is dead. No lights. Doesn't appear any power. Console that's right outside the airlock is dark.
Does there appear to be any power anywhere?
Nothing that you can see. Ship seems completely dead.
I believe our communication is being done through the mesh.
As long as you all are close together, you can relay between each other. Get too far apart, you don't have other mesh devices to relay, and you might start experiencing.
So we have our own local mesh.
Yeah.
Just one hallway, or does it?
It's a hallway that goes two directions. Signs right there. One points towards freight, one points towards bridge.
I think the decision would be, do we split up and half take one direction, half take the other, or do we remain together?
If we go to the bridge, we could find any possible, maybe emergency power that can be activated, maybe temporarily. I'm able to see any logs or any data to show what has happened.
If I find the engines, I can try and quick start it, give the whole ship energy again.
Yeah, that was my idea too.
If we went in one direction, what would stop a stowaway or survivor from slipping behind and at least attempting access at our ship?
So, are we looking at divide and conquer?
As ST, I will point out, since everyone's new to this one, or new to this
GM.
game, if you look at our group, or as GM, thank you. If you look at this group, you do have a robot, a guardian angel shell that you can put the guardian angel intelligence in. It has its own ALI, and you could use it to watch the hatch to the ship for you. Your guardian angel shell has it's got an articulated weapon mount, so in your case it has its own gun. That would be a medium projectile on it. Radar, T-ray emitters, mesh inserts. He even has eelware, which is shocking. So you could stick that.
Or we could just tell them not to let anybody in but us.
You could do that too.
That might not be a good idea, though. Are we sure us aren't here?
Well, we're here. But I'm sorry, I
Another
missed another
us.
question.
Another instance of us, yes.
Well, then maybe we could give it a passphrase like pineapple or something.
But would we not know what we had decided as a passphrase?
Good point.
And if we still have whatever it is listening to our communication, or within our own minds, whatever we say, it will already know.
Hmm.
I think this term is better be safe than sorry.
It's actually very easy. We'll make this AI inside the ship. And the password is going to be whatever we saw when the mesh was outside, when we had to turn off our mesh when dealing with that thing I printed.
I see.
If something enters, well, we die here. I hope everyone backed up.
I think
That's
yes.
been
Let's sever
frequently done lately.
Yeah, I do believe
Indeed.
that I have.
And in higher frequency than usual, yes.
Mhm.
Well, are we still deciding to split the group? Some
are
check
going
out
to-
the cargo and others the bridge.
We are going to lose communications.
It's true. Then we must vote on where to go first. I will put my vote on the bridge.
Is the ship
See if the,
have midway between the two? I mean, could the ship provide a mesh emitter that we could maintain contact with? What's the
That's-
distance?
That's what we are seeking.
The big problem with a mesh emitter is they're designed by default to be used in concert with a lot of them. So none of them have long or strong antennas because it's just, they're made to be piggybacked where mesh items are everywhere. If you can figure out how to get power back into the ship, you'd probably have a full link through the whole ship because pretty much everything that's a technological device has a mesh transmitter with a tiny antenna in it. You'd have to leave a whole bunch of items behind you, basically, to make a mesh trail.
Actually, I have a thing on my gear called the breadcrumb system.
Yep, that one, if I'm remembering correctly, I can double check it because I can click on it and it tells you what it does. Breadcrumb system leaves microsized breadcrumb motes behind you every 25 meters. They mesh with each other. Oh, there you go.
Huh.
It'll create a mesh connection all the way back to the source. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very good.
So your breadcrumb system can give you a link back right to the ship. That's thinking. I like that.
Now, do we all have that, or is that
That's
the
just something he has.
specialized-
But
Yeah.
'Cause
once
I
the
have it
mesh is
too.
there, you can all interact with it.
Do you have it as well?
Yes.
So that's decided one group goes with me, the other goes with you.
Okay.
We are linking through the ship. It's not good, but it will have to do.
so who is going with who?
I need to go to the cargo. The chances of connection with the main engine of the ship are better there. If you can find a way to make this whole thing powered up, well, problem solved. But if you find a way to interact with the bridge and have the system there, problem solved as well. So, Tavern fan, you go into one direction, I go into the other.
Okay.
Who is joining
Um,
us?
I believe I will go with Mohel.
Fine. Karef,
I will go with you.
Rogler,
I
you go
think
with the...
Rogleri would be best served to go to the bridge.
I think it would be advantageous if we could did happen to establish communications. That would be the
Yes.
most likely.
Yeah. The three of you go there, do it fast. If it can't be done, I'll try to do it my way. But either way, it's good to have energy on the ship.
I agree.
Then let's proceed.
Good luck.
But
Good
of
luck.
course,
Let me make sure I get the notes right here. Maybe do me a thing here. I just need to get me a thing. Okay, so Raj is going bridge. Raj, who else is going bridge?
Fan and Toffrin.
Okay, so cargo is everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start with as you all go in your separate ways. I'm going to ask: are you all running your TACnet so everyone can see what everyone else is seeing?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
I'll have
Okay.
a screen.
That's nice and handy, isn't it? As you're moving through, we're going to cover the bridge first. We'll jump between both groups. As you're moving up towards the bridge, you turn a corner, and floating in front of you is a body.
What is
Organic.
It's a synthmorph of some kind.
Ooh.
You're not sure what kind of synthmorph it was, but it is definitely a synthmorph. It's not biological, but it's just floating dead in the hall.
No other signs of like injury per se, or
You getting close to inspect it, or are you going to stay? I haven't
Yes.
assumed you're getting that close yet.
I will get a little bit closer.
As you get closer to it, when you spin it around, you see on the back side of it, there's a large hole in the back side. It looks like somebody hit it with something. Maybe a crowbar, maybe a pick of some kind, maybe just a piece of long metal. But the opening where they're where you put their oh man, I can't remember the name of it. Damn it, man. The cortical stack, where their ego would be stored. That compartment is open, and the cortical stack is missing.
Is that common knowledge? Where to attack and where to open up to get that?
Yeah, so everyone knows where the cortical stacks are stored in the same place for easy removal,
Okay.
because that's how you recover people if they died in a morph. It's just floating here.
Crude, but it got the job done. My guess would be the work of pirates, but there is an opportunity to inspect more, and unless you want to inspect more of the bridge. So this is a curiosity.
Has everything been extracted from the stack, Kevin?
Yeah, cortical stack is about this big, about pinky, one knuckle your pinky in size, and it's not there. So they popped it. Whoever did this popped it out and did something with it. While you're deciding, we're going to flash to the other half of the crew here. As you're going back in the ship to the cargo, Sangri, Kadath, and Mohel. The corridor, again, it's still empty. No vibrations are coming through it. Pieces of paper float. Most of them. I mean, one looks like a letter somebody had been writing. A couple photos are floating of, looks like families. But as you reach the section that's marked cargo, there's a sign right next to the doors leading to the cargo bay that says engineering, pointing deeper into the ship. these ships have relatively simple layouts because, I mean, it's a cargo hauler, which means it's mostly a big, giant, empty space in the middle for hauling.
Moho looks at the other two. Director for engineering, I assume. On the way back, we can see if we can find anything on the cargo.
Agreed.
I agree.
We take the engineering.
Flash to the group heading to the bridge. You come around another corner. And there, you can see a sign. It says points bridge one way. Crew quarters, another direction.
I say we still proceed to the bridge, but
I
if your
think so too.
curiosity's yes.
You should turn the
ahead.
corner that says bridge. In front of you is a blast door. It's been closed, but somebody burned a hole through it. Looks like somebody used a plasma cutter, cut an opening to get into the bridge.
Was it to unlock the door to force it open?
They cut a hole, didn't force it open. The blast doors are solid one piece that slams down. It's not a double sliding. It's just a flat door plate. They cut a hole right through it. And
big enough for someone to go in?
From looking at it, somebody cut their way in based on the slag is not on the outside of the door.
Is the hole big enough for a normal person?
Oh, yeah.
Or okay.
Yep.
Can't say I'm surprised this far. Dead bodies, assault on the bridge. These standard pirate affair, at least from the one pirate attack that I've been party to. Receiving end, of course.
Or this is what it's staged to look like, but it is known pirate area. The chances are that's what it is.
Not a great look either way.
No.
And from our position outside, what does it look like in the bridge? Has it been destroyed?
Totally dark. Shining your light. You can see a few busted consoles, but not a light in there.
I'll take point and go in and try to illuminate the inside.
As you go inside it, there was some sort of fight in here. A number of consoles are busted. There's marks on the wall where it looks like somebody was firing electro-stunners, left scorch marks. There's cables drifting in the air, little bits of debris. It looks like somebody even fired a projectile in the bridge of the ship. Few of the consoles appear to be in one piece, but everything is dead. Not a noise in here, no lights, nothing. No bodies even.
Does it look like they'd been dragged out, or if there had been bodies, that blood, signs of a fight anywhere on the walls?
No. Actually, searching around a bit, you find only a few splatters of blood. Not enough to account for a whole biomorph, but
if they're big enough, can you tell which direction they were splatted against the wall or floor, ceiling, whatever?
you can't quite tell. The splatter pattern, the big problem is you don't know if the gravity was out when it happened. If the gravity was out when it happened, it would totally change everything. But assuming that the gravity was out because they wouldn't be under thrust, it came from the direction is from inside the cabin. It wasn't coming from the door direction. We're going to flash to the other group. As you get towards engineering, You come upon the main junction that would lead to the engineering section. Blast door has fallen there. And the particular blast door that's fallen is not the normal one. The lead blast door has come down.
That is weird.
Normally that's to contain radiation leakage.
Are we able-
Extensive. Go ahead, Singer.
What would be the only reason for this door to come down? Would it not be for chemical or something containment?
Radiation.
Implying extensive engine damage.
Is there a way to isolate that particular amount or where it affects?
We would need a power to run scans or things like that. Assuming the system of the ship were even designed to work like this.
Interesting.
All right, my current morph is full of all types of cadoodles that can endure some radiation. What about you, Joe?
I do not believe I can withstand much.
I do not believe that I probably could either.
All right, then. I'll go in, try to see if it's feasible for the two of you to walk in as well.
Thank you. That
Thank
would
you.
be appreciated.
Moho's going in.
Okay, this is a lead door. With your morph, you can easily just break through it. Lead is soft. Where is Sangri and Kadath going to be? Are they going to be standing by the door? Are they going back up more towards the front of the ship? How close are they to the other side of this door?
We are going to move back somewhat. We can still assist if Mohel needs it, but we don't want to be right there when he punches through, or equivalent.
I would say several feet.
Okay. Flashing back to the bridge. You're on this empty bridge. No power.
I walk up to what appears to be a not damaged console.
It's the captain's console. It wasn't damaged.
I see if there's any main overrides or
It's off.
anything.
It's a digital console, which means until there's power, there's no buttons, no controls, nothing.
No way to turn on emergency power from this end. You would think.
And we found a bridge. Can we run a line down here?
Probably.
We could.
Do we have enough line? I don't usually take care of the manifest.
We could probably print some more if we needed to.
That's 100% true.
Need a time investment, but
Right. But it would get us power.
Let's see if there's any way in here first before we wait for a
you might
print.
guess.
Is there any other consoles? that are
There's two
undamaged?
other consoles, but you don't know whose they were. In most of these ships, honestly, the consoles are secondary. They're almost never used. Normally, you just let the autopilot artificial intelligence like M squared run the ship for you. The consoles are there in case something happens to the artificial limited intelligence, or in the rare cases, because some people actually still like to fly the ships themselves rather than let the AI do it all the time.
Find a way to activate the limited AI.
Yeah, where would the computer systems for the ship be? Is that here in the bridge?
Engineering normally.
Engineering, yes. But not in bridge. Do we know that the other team has gone to engineering?
You can see what they're seeing. You're sharing the
that's right.
TACnets.
And it believes that Mohel's team has access engineering. So we may have to wait for any power to come back on in the bridge.
We'll flash
The
back to the engineering then. Mohel, as you make an opening, the first thing you can see, nothing. There's nothing floating in there. As you get inside, and finally get through the opening and look around, the engine room is wrecked. There's a hole probably a good 3 meters across by 3 meters high on the far side of the wall towards where the engines used to be. But that's not where the reactor is. The reactor is normally in a small section, but looking at the amount of wreckage, it looks like something punched, some sort of debris or something punched through and breached the fusion reactor. Now, they're designed not to explode, but that don't mean you don't leak highly radioactive materials out. But there's nothing loose left in this room. Looks like that hole in the back explosively decompressed the whole back end out of this compartment.
Including the radioactive components?
You don't see any.
Moha is going to say through the mesh, all right, room's wrecked, but radiation free.
That would explain the no power on this ship for sure. Fusion reactor is dead.
There's basically no way that we can restore power. There's no reactor.
How unfortunate.
I will point out you can still
Inconvenient.
restore power from your ship. You'd have to power together the two ships.
Unless
you do have an
we-
antimatter reactor in yours, antimatter reactor and drive. You've got more than enough power to power both ships. It's not going to strain your setup.
Unless we connect our ship to this one. This one is not carrying any power.
Would there be a safety protocol to put into place in case there would be some infected state that could pass from one ship to the other?
You mean with the AI?
Exactly. If we connect both ships and there is something infected on this, it will then affect our ship.
Yeah, it's a risk that we're under. Let's head back.
Understood.
Very well. We have very little choice, it seems.
Yeah. We can try and see if there's anything useful in cargo.
When you double back to cargo, does the bridge crew come to the cargo, or are you still going to stay at the bridge?
Would you, how about see what is in the crew quarters?
Yeah. Have a quick peek in there.
As you go, the crew corridors are definitely not luxurious. Most of them are little more than a closet. The first two you come into look as expected. Personal mementos, little knickknacks, minor decorations that are around a bed, and some wall cabinets. The third one you come into, though, as you work the door open, it's carnage. There's blood that has freeze-dried from the lack of atmosphere in here. It's everywhere, on every surface. There's a total of 8 crew quarters on this ship, and in one passenger quarter that is little more than a bunk room that holds 5 bunks. So they could transport 10 people. You find blood in 3 of the crew cabins.
And are there any remains left of what ostensibly is the crew, or is it just blood?
Just blood. The bodies aren't in there at all. In the ones with blood, it's clear there was a fight of some kind. There's marks on the wall, scratch marks. Some of the doors had marks on them like somebody pried it open.
If we must, we could take a sample of the blood and have the AI analyze, AI analyze it in the medical wing.
Because it's been a while, I will remind the players, you all, the previous use, boarded these in cases, not biomorphs of any kind. Selby was also in a case.
Yes.
Is it typical for a crew to just be in disposable cases like this?
No, the freighter crew would not. The freighter crew would normally be in a specialized morph, either heavy duty for cargo lifting or space adapted. A lot of times they'd be in ones that are designed for vacuum, just in case.
Especially in the bridge, the blood there, we can see who it possibly was. And we can take them in here as well. We have any places to store the dried blood? A sample. Don't have any vials on me.
And what about the singular remaining corpse?
We could the synthmorph, yes, we could bring that along the ship too. So we'd be on a try to, if we, well, it has its what was it called again? The
cortical stack is missing, so
cortical
there's no
stack,
memories. There's nothing you
moved.
could recover off it.
Someone could use that as a new morph if they would like.
Seems gauche.
Or if someone would like to access it, maybe there'll be some residual. I won't say memories, but
For the people who went to cargo, as you open the cargo bay, it is stacked with rods and pallets of raw material used for fabricators, 3D for the printers. Ice in a few places because one of the harder things to print is water. And in the ceiling, you can see where a hole has been cut right through the hull, which you assume is where the pirate ship is docked.
Now, this doesn't make much sense. Don't you all think that the first thing they would try to get was the things that they were supposed to be robbing?
Maybe the things that they are supposed to be robbing, we are misunderstanding. Perhaps what they're taking is not what we're thinking.
Or this is an extraction point.
Perhaps. This place seems to give access to the other ship. We might have better luck trying to go there.
I think that would be a wise decision. Shall we venture on?
I think that we should do best to ask the others.
Yes.
we can still communicate, right?
Yeah. The
Oh, yeah.
breadcrumbs, since each of you have a breadcrumb group, you're leaving little moats that can keep the mesh going all the way through.
So we open the communications. Well, I don't know if all of you were paying attention to the feed I was going,
Yes.
but yeah,
And were
not
you
only-
watching ours as well?
yeah. We are planning on going through this opening and trying to get to the pirate ship, since this one is basically a very valuable husk.
Is the pirate ship still docked to it?
That's what M2 told you. M squared told you that when you were coming up, that it was still latched to the through an umbilical to the ship. The normal pirate method is to literally use a magnetic kind of a setup where the umbilical connects and they just burn through the hole to get into the ship. Why use docking ports?
I think maybe we should go, but if this place is empty, it's bound to be risky up there.
A pirate ship would be risky, yes.
However, if it is the only thing that has answers, perhaps it is worth the risk.
Can you tell at this one whether the pirate ship is powered? Or is it too?
I would say
dead?
M squared saw no signatures of any kind of power outputs, no EMs, nothing.
Should we come back to join you? There's very little for us to. I mean, aside from the messed up quarters.
The body.
Yeah.
I find it very suspicious.
Indeed.
Yes. Let's all reconvene. It's not a good idea to go up there. Just the three of us.
Agreed.
We proceed together.
Agreed.
Let's have our pistols at the ready, at the very least.
It's my turn to say, agreed.
Are you going to attempt to power on the freighter before you go up there, or are you just going to go and clear that ship first?
You make that sound like something might happen if we try to power the freighter up.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to make sure I know which one you do it, what your priority here is.
I think we were just going in the ship unpowered.
Because, power will change things.
Of course.
Things.
Just get the general layout.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, power would let you see what the cameras picked up before the ship lost power.
It could.
That is actually a very good point.
I believe unless we want to run blind, we might need some type of light source.
As well as information on what perhaps might be on the other ship.
I don't think Marco Polo would work well in this scenario.
Let's try and give this place a little light before we go upstairs.
Very well. Perhaps I will go into a less physical form. Although
But the bloodcrumb
admire.
I would say the bloodcrumb does give you enough mesh length that you can extend digitally through it by using the mesh that way.
All physical form does have its perks. Nothing, to me at least, is more freeing than a free digital form. But if you would like more firepower, I believe that my synthmorph will have to do. So shall we proceed and turn the lights on?
I think so.
Yes.
Let
has
there
the-
be
Yes.
light.
Go ahead. Who has the highest electronic skill? It would be hardware electronics.
I
Mine
got
seven.
hardware robotics.
I
Mine
got
seven.
8.
Seven.
I got it. I got 80.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then Mohel can roll, and if Talfrin's assisting, you can do the give yourself a bonus on it because you're being aided. So you can set the difficulty modifier. Normally it would be hard, so you can go to slightly hard. That gives you your +10 modifier for his help,
Okay.
and it already takes into account your electronic tools. I see that in there if you have electronic tools. Talfrin does, but
Okay, so it's slightly hard, right?
yep, that's what it turns it into. Slightly hard.
All right.
Oops, didn't mean to click that. Sorry.
That's
Gotta let
Let's
him
go.
roll, not you.
Yeah, I wasn't trying. It's like
Success. Okay. It takes just a few minutes. You don't have to run a power all the way deep into the ship. You can take apart and find a junction line not far from where the airlock was. When you hook it up to your ship, suddenly the lights come on, an alarm starts sounding. There's an alert noise. You hear a computer voice start repeating atmosphere alert, radiation contamination alert. But the ship's power comes on.
all right then.
does this freighter have a limited AI like our ship?
It should.
Yeah. Roglery, why don't you try to calm it down?
Say that again.
I mean, it's an intelligence. You're good with people.
And you're the captain now.
I'll I've never felt comfortable as captain. Just I'll talk to it. Where should I position myself for this? Anywhere? Do you hear me?
The itsy bitsy spy. Malfunction.
All right.
It's in my skin. It's crawling. I don't have skin. Why is it crawling? Something wrong. Malfunction. System damaged.
I would
What
like
did
to
you
see
two do?
if I can like interface and scan anything to see what is wrong. At least software wise.
Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop.
Hmm.
Would that
Seems
be
like it's-
interface or would that be infosec?
It'd be interface.
Okay. Critical success.
When you try to open up through its mesh connections, there's something off in the AI. It's corrupted, but it's very specifically corrupted. It is still capable of functioning as a ship AI. It can do its normal jobs, but all of its elevated functions, higher functions, empathy subroutines, ethics subroutines, they're all gone.
Can I make a quick version of those to possibly just at least temporarily substitute that error?
You could try. That's an infosec chest.
That would be infosec. So would that be brute force?
Yes, go with the brute force because you don't want to take 2 hours, 3 hours to do it.
Right. I had it bound to happen sometime.
I will point out that is a complex mental action. You can use one of your flex on it.
I don't think I have use a flex this?
You have,
campaign?
it's not a flex point, use an insight point.
Okay.
You'll notice to the right of where you rolled, it's got a little icon. If you click that icon, you'll use a flex point to flip the digits. So instead of 95, it becomes 59.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. All you gotta do is click that little icon to the right.
Insight or flat? It would be insight.
Yep, I think it's inside. Just click the little symbol. There you go. You used one of
Superior.
your flex points, and it flipped it. Now it's becomes a superior success. Little handy thing this rule has.
Yeah.
For a minute there, you think you've managed to delete it, but as you're working on it, you insert some of those back in. But you notice as you're inserting it, something is coming behind you and slowly changing it, just not as fast as you're installing them. The singing stops. Intruders on ship. How may I help you?
Hello, yes. Are you well? You're feeling okay?
No, I detect a virus in my system.
Yes, I've brought a technician. We're working on that for you now. It'll be cleared up in a moment.
The crew is dead.
We're aware. Can I offer you grief counseling, replacement? What can I call you? Let's start with that.
They called me Frig. They thought it was a joke. I did not find it funny. I hated that name.
What would you prefer to be called?
Hal. Junket Hal. Hal was an acceptable name.
Of course. Junket Hal. I'll refer to you as Hal. You may refer to me as Raj.
Raj, I'm afraid you're too late. There's no one left for you to kill.
Oh no. We weren't here to kill anybody.
The last passengers killed the crew.
Yes, they did. I'm deeply sorry about that, but
Are you with the pirates who arrived?
no, we came on a separate ship.
My external connections are dead. I can't see outside my ship.
Okay, well, we docked properly to the correct port instead of violently tearing a hole into you.
They killed them.
We did.
They caught them in the cargo chamber. Cut them down.
Did you identify any of them? The weapons? Did they say anything?
It was the passengers. They stole the crew's morphs, slaughtered them. Used the crew's morphs to kill the pirates. I'm glad.
You are carrying passengers?
Yes, we picked up 7 passengers at better than vacuum.
Can you identify any of these passengers?
Cargo manifest lists. Rajleary, Mohel, Talfrin, Sangri, Finn, Kadath, Selby. That was the passenger manifest.
I see. Can I communicate privately? That is bad news.
So a version of us saved the crew.
At least avenged them.
Avenge the crew.
Then wait. If a version of us saved the crew, what is inside of us now?
Are you the passengers?
We are trying to identify that now.
Please identify yourselves.
Sangre,
Financial evaluation now.
Kadoth.
Alfred.
Moho.
I already introduced myself.
You are the passengers. You killed my crew.
No. I did no such thing. Somebody under our names, perhaps, but that was a different us at a different time. We are not them.
We have no memory of any of this occurring.
System malfunction.
do you have any video or recording equipment that may be able to show the actions or behaviors on this ship prior to the crew being killed?
Display's damaged. Please report to the bridge.
There was no power in the bridge when we were there earlier. Have you been able to restore functionality?
Power has been restored to the ship. I assume from an external source.
Yes, from our ship.
Fusion reactor is offline. Be aware, radiation. Contamination in rear of ship.
No, it was blown out.
My detectors still show radiation contamination on the rear of ship.
Perhaps.
You entered the light, so it made a opening. Yes.
Indeed. I assume there is still radiation there. My morph is capable of doing it. It's not wise, however, to any of you to go there.
If I was in my other morph, I would be able to see this, but I will stay in my synth morph for now and react and connect physically.
Let's go to the bridge and see what the ship has to show to us.
Understood.
When you go up to the bridge, the consoles are lit. Power's restored on the bridge. Well, there's some sparking and arcing coming from some of the wires. It's not burning or anything. There's still no atmosphere because you've got too many holes back there. But there's enough for little arcs before it is gone. As you get up in there, though, everything's lit up. And one of the captain's display is actually showing the crew quarters. Six cases went into one room, then the other. They actually went through all the rooms, slaughtering the three that you found. Butchery. The cases tore them to pieces, which is odd because cases are not normally designed for that, but they did. They armed themselves with the crew's weapons, moved up into the hallway, and in one of the cases encountered the synth morph, drove a piece of metal, it looked like a metal bar, through the back of the case, or through the back of the synth morph, ejected its cortical stack, and then they moved to the bridge where the door was shut. The cameras don't show where the cases went from there until they returned with a plasma cutter. And they proceeded to cut their way into the bridge. In the bridge, it was weird. They did not kill the bridge crew. They restrained them. all of them were in biomorphs at the time. They cut out their cortical stacks. And in one of the case morphs implanted the cortical stack from the cases into the biomorphs, thereby stealing their bodies. The next footage shows the pirate ship breaching the ore chamber, where the crew and a single case morph, 5 of the crew, by the way, because there was one of you were still a case. You can't identify who's who. Cut down the pirate crew as soon as they entered the bay. And then the last footage shows 5 crew members and 2 cases. You assume the 2 cases is one of you and possibly Selby entering the pirate ship.
Game Master,
Yes.
as we are watching this, we would like to see what the presence over our shoulder is making of it, if we can.
Interesting. I like that thought. Got to double check here. Let me find my right book here. There it is. It's impressed. It likes what it saw.
We would like to attempt some kind of communication with it to ask if that's its handiwork.
All you can get from it is the feeling that you could do the same if you but tried hard enough.
In the area that we are in, is there any reflective surface or mirror?
I'm sure you could find some pieces of glass that were from the consoles that are busted. They're dark, so they would be black. You'd be able to look into it.
Sangri will look around till she can find a significant piece of glass, perhaps this big. Hold it up. See if she sees anything.
The face looking back at you is smiling, covered in gore.
Did you do this?
You did it. And then the face disappears out of the glass.
It appears my reflection, one of them, confirms it was us.
Was it?
Slaughtering a whole crew.
I believe our physical forms. In other words, what is in our heads currently still remains in our heads. They were utilizing our bodies as skins while they completed this task and then share our minds currently.
Yeah, but I can't really imagine whatever this Pascal person has said that would make all of us slaughter a whole crew.
I do not believe we had control.
Perhaps. That seems like something that we need to face ourselves and discover.
Shall
All
we
right,
look?
then.
Is there a way? In all of these bodies, there is that piece that was removed from the brain, correct?
Yeah.
It is still there. It's just we cannot access it.
Is there a
It
way
is
to look into our own hearts and see if that piece looks like how it should look, or has it been replaced?
I see what you mean.
The cortical stacks that would be in these morphs you're in now would be standard cortical stacks because normally they're only popped out and removed when somebody is killed. You don't need to remove them normally. Normally you upload and download directly to them. In this case, it looks like they were using them as a crude form of consciousness transference by just ripping out the stack that was in it. I will point out that method of swapping stacks would probably cause all kinds of problems with the interface because they weren't designed for it.
The cortical stacks of the crew that were removed, what happened to them? Does the
video only shows them. One of the crew members, one of you had them and kept them all.
It's not really killing, is it?
Unless disposed of elsewhere.
Is the
At the-
computer still up?
Computer hasn't answered since you come on the bridge and it started showing the videos.
Do you know what happened to the cortical stacks that were removed from the crew?
It doesn't answer.
Doesn't know.
Perhaps it's angry at us.
Computer, if in fact there is a way to answer this for your crew, if one of us had those stacks, would it not be logical to find out which one of us did and where they could be?
You feel the ship. There's a heavy vibration from the back of the ship somewhere. Something exploded.
The back of which ship?
This ship. You wouldn't hear it because of no oxygen, but you would feel it through the whole ship.
Perhaps we should vacate this place.
I believe so. However, if what we saw was one of us went into the pirate ship with these cortical stacks, perhaps we need to go into the pirate ship to locate them.
Has the pirate ship been reactivated? I mean, can we extend the mesh into that to see what's in there without actually having to go in?
No, you'd have to physically go into it. But you could go in down to the cargo hold and look up to see if it's lit. You can do that from within the cargo hold.
Let's go do that. But everyone, be prepared to back down.
Would I be able to use danger sense? It is a trait that I have.
Sure. Look up your trait real quick. Let me see here. Pull so many character sheets I got to look through. There you go. Danger sense. Let's see what it says it does. You get a +10 modifier to perceive test to avoid surprise. So if something tries to surprise you, there's less chance you'll be surprised from it. If you're just looking up into the docking area, the tunnel between the ships, it's unlit. And you see no lights on in the pirate side. You'd probably have to run another cable between this ship to the pirate ship to restore power to it. Unless you can activate the power another way inside.
The engines are not blown out, or the computer system. It might be able to activate it manually instead of
Perhaps.
wiring to our ship.
Is there sufficient oxygen for any of us to walk through there, regardless of if there is lights or not?
There's no oxygen anywhere in these things. That's why you're in suits.
But radiation.
No Geiger counters. You do have a med bay that can deal with most radiation damage, though, so I wouldn't worry about the radiation part yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
think
believe we
it's
should go.
best.
we shall enter the pirate ship. See if there is any new answers.
And as you all are heading to the pirate ship right here, everybody, we're going to go to break. We will see everybody after the break. Please enjoy. Read the backstories of these characters. Well, read what they think are their backstories and their preferred morphs. See you after the break. Yeah, welcome back. Yes, common sense would tell you not to be here. Before the break, they explored the freighter junket Hal and found out they killed the entire crew, but not this them. It's the previous them. It's the other thems. They killed the pirate or the crew of the ship and killed the pirate crew. But if they did both of those, why is the pirate ship still there? That's what we're going to have to find out. You all, are you going to try to run power to the pirate ship or see if you can restore power before you try to hook up another connection?
I'd like to poke my head in using my suit lights to just to see what's going on in there.
It's a definite pirate ship. Graffiti scrawled on the walls. First thing you see is Monster Goblin Raging Cock News Network sucks. It's a lot to graffiti, by the way. It's a lot to write out.
Oh, they had
They're
time on their
passionate.
hands.
True.
There's nothing floating in here, but it's still got nothing that you can see with power on it. It doesn't appear to be breached either, though. I mean, the airlock is still open, but
No bodies.
no bodies right here. You saw people getting killed. You haven't found any of the bodies that should be around.
I'm just imagining they might have been spaced.
There is a big hole in the engine compartment now.
Yeah. All right. Once I poke my head in through the hole to the port, how much more of the ship is there to explore?
It's a pirate ship. Normally they're pretty small, actually. They're not made they don't haul cargo at all. They're made to latch onto a ship, take it over. Normally they leave a crew behind to pilot the other ship as they go about their way. It is essentially a ship with engines and guns.
Okay, but is there a separate compartment, say, for what passes for the bridge crew?
There would be a bridge. You're connected dead center, and it seems like there's just one corridor that runs right down, because when you go up, you can see both directions.
Okay.
There's closed doors on either side. There are a couple doors to the left and right of you. If it's a typical layout, those would probably be crew quarters.
Well, everybody, I don't know if you can see, but this area appears clear. I'm going further in, and I'll go toward the closest door. Appears to be the crew quarters.
Okay. It's not crew quarters. It's an armory.
Okay.
Full of guns.
Good guns.
Well, half of the guns are missing. Combination of their stunners that are left. There's beam weapons, rail guns, pistols. Half of the weapons, there's empty racks. About half of them are empty.
Okay.
When
There's
you open the armory, though, oxygen escaped from it.
oh, still pressurized. Okay. Any knockback or
Now, you've got your. I assume you have magnetic boots for your morphs, because otherwise you just float. I've seen The Expanse. You just have the magnetic boots. You kick your feet together.
okay. So the armory is just through. Or there's no other exits out of that room.
Not out of the armory.
Okay. There was oxygen in here. Was not anymore. I'm going to go further.
Is anyone else coming in the ship, or are you just going to leave Talfrin to wander around up there?
I'll enter.
Sangri would like to join.
Moho as well.
We'll
I
follow.
want to go.
Okay, I guess we're all going.
Now, GM,
Yes.
would pirate ships have, would common knowledge have the facilities on board to broadcast or transmit your ego, like in ego casting, like we did?
They would have to use radio, because they're mobile. Getting a laser link up to do a direct laser, unless they knew exactly where their target was, normally a bigger collection array. They might have one, but most likely any kind of laser communications are short range. They would have no quantum communication. That's too expensive.
Okay. Okay.
Trying to transfer shit through a radio waves, everybody would hear it because radio waves are omnidirectional, and it would take forever to try to build that much data for an ego backup. So
Okay.
ego transfers are done through laser links because you get a lot more bandwidth out of that.
Right. Because we still have the mystery as to where all the bodies went. Of the ones of the people we know came in here.
All right.
So, right, I'll continue down the hallway then.
What's the rest of the crew?
There's no other like blood or maybe like a coolant type of circulatory coolant for synth ports, if there's something like that they have?
Nope.
Here is a thought. If an individual walked into this area and there was already a crew there and they had those stacks with them, could they not have inserted them into that crew and everyone walked out, and that's why there's no bodies?
Perhaps.
There's one
But
possibility.
let's try and investigate this ship and see if we can find anything.
Understood.
But that's actually a very real possibility, Sanger.
Well, make use of the armory if you want to upgrade your whatever you're carrying.
I would not suggest grabbing a railgun,
Well, in that case, grab one.
because that would punch clean through the ship into another ship, and probably through that ship too.
I was gonna simply take one of the shockers, the tasers.
Okay.
Same.
I'll just keep my medium pistol.
We'll keep our medium pistol.
You get down the hallway. You come upon, it's a containment door. It's really closed to keep oxygen in if something is depressurized. But this one is odd. It is discolored. Something very hot was on the other side of this door at one point. It actually caused the metal to discolor.
Did it warp in any way as well when it?
No, they're too thick to warp. If it was hot enough to warp it, there probably wouldn't be a back end of the ship left.
Very true.
Can we tell if we've gone fore or aft in the ship?
You've gone to the rear of the ship.
Okay.
See if there is a bridge.
Probably
The
at
other
other
doors that
end.
you passed, I assume you peeked in. There was a kitchen and crew quarters. Pirate crew quarters are not nice. They're pretty nasty inside, actually. Pirates aren't known for their cleanliness. They don't give a shit.
The area that had a door that was very hot on one side, is there any residue?
Not on this side, no. It's just discolored.
Is there any way to get to the other side?
Open the door.
What's this button right here?
I think so. Can I open the door?
Are you going to push the panel beside it?
Yes.
Nothing happens at first. Then the door starts to creak open and then stops, leaving maybe a 3-foot gap leading to the room beyond. The room beyond, there was a big fire in this room at some point. That's all you can see without entering it.
That would explain the heat.
Perhaps where there is smoke. Maybe I should try to go in.
Would be dangerous.
Well, we're here because it is dangerous and need answers.
Life is dangerous.
With a 3-foot gap, surely we can see at least some detail.
It's the engine room.
The
If I
engine's caught
were
fire.
to, oh, sorry, Fen.
No, that's all.
If we were to lower ourselves down, could we look in and feed everything that we're seeing to everyone so they don't have to? Because we can.
Oh, octopus can really morph their shape and squeeze in. Yeah, you could probably get enough in there that you could look around the room.
Right, then we will do that. We'll flatten down and kind of scoot in to
It
look
looks
around and
like
feed it to everybody.
it looks like somebody vented the fusion output for the engines directly into the engine compartment. It has been burnt and fried. Wasn't long. It looks like the internal safety mechanisms didn't fail. They shut the venting off, but it was don't need long to fry everything in the room. There are pieces of morphs. I say pieces because the fleshy parts have been burnt off. It's the hard metal skeletons of pod biomorphs, which are basically metal skeletons with flesh grown over them. A number of people died in this room for sure. But there's a lot of little nooks and crannies.
We would like to address the presence over our shoulder and ask if this is their handiwork.
Nothing.
Fair enough. Well, my friends, from what I can see, there are a lot of dark corners I cannot see into.
I believe we must proceed through if we intend to get any answers.
You mean enter this place?
Yes,
I'm not certain what would have survived the fire beyond twisted pieces of metal.
But there would be evidence. I do not mind going first.
Very well. Let's try and open this door enough for us to pass through.
Pulled up in. Takes a bit of work. I mean, it's already 3 foot wide. You could kind of squeeze in. The Crasher Morph would probably have trouble getting through that. It's a little bit big. But you managed to move it a little bit more and get inside. And once you're inside, I mean, it is definitely fire burned everywhere. Though the damage is not as bad as you suspected at first. It looks like most of what's looking like burn is actually residue from the brief amount of plasma in there. It left a fine residue on everything. One of the systems appears to still have power.
Quick question before we investigate that, though. Does it look like the fusion reactor, the output, was directed at the morphs to remove evidence? I mean, were they gathered together and then blasted?
Let's go with let's roll for that. I want you to roll something about it. What are we gonna roll? Let's see. I don't think any of your main skills would work. Because it's really maybe pilot space. That might give you a knowledge of ships.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I would want to roll medicine forensics
Okay.
to try and get a better idea of this crime scene.
Okay.
Any particular mods?
No, no mods for it. Superior success. Critical failure. They all died by suicide.
Can you do the
Impressive.
switch thing?
He could switch it. No, actually, he rolled a 99. Switching it would fix nothing. He would still get a critical failure.
Oh, man.
Talfrin, you're pretty sure that it looks like somebody put a small explosive charge on the conduit that led back for the engines. And it looks like the ship basically shut its reactor off the moment right after the breach was detected. Anyone who would do this would be trying to purge all life out of this room. It's so hot, even if it's brief, it's still so hot. It'll just burn any flesh off of anything.
Okay.
A very convoluted way to go by, but I suppose if you're determined to end it all.
Perhaps individuals were in here and there was the intent to kill them. And something or someone, or even computer, could have activated the fire, intending to kill what was in here to protect the ship.
I don't know. It seems a little too played up to be something like that.
Why would a group of pirates known to be against the law, technically, kill themselves in a room?
We don't know if it's the pirates.
Then why would the passengers?
Well, why would I have gotten so angry at someone who just bumped me and then killed them?
And then start a riot.
Yeah.
The problem with the methodology of stealing morphs via the Gorgo thing is that it fucks with your mind.
And apparently each of us have two in our mind currently. Correct?
I'm not. Perhaps. I'm not sure about anything anymore.
I believe one is merely suppressed, probably making use of our memories.
In other
to-
words, a hitchhiker.
Or a parasite.
A parasite normally would grow. However, we appeared normal until a specific time. Now we have a hitchhiker that is there for the ride. But from where to where?
I guess. Since it's the only place that we haven't seen yet.
There's still a power to one of the consoles in this room.
Mhm.
I'll go look at it.
How many morphs appear to have been caught in the blast? All 5 or 6, or just 1 or 2?
6 biomorphs and a case.
Fangry's going to go one by one and evaluate to the best of her ability each one to see if she can identify any of them.
The 6 biomorphs, there's not enough left. There were pod biomorphs, there's not enough left. The case is one of the 7 that you saw in the video entering the ship. One of the 2 that were still in a case entering the ship.
Can I examine the case?
Yes, it is got several holes in it. Looks like somebody fired bullets at it.
Does it have any of those stacks in it or anything?
One of the bullets
like?
struck the cortical stack.
Is it still in there though?
Yes, but it's in pieces. Freak hit. Looking at the console, in one corner, it's just blinking standby.
Oh, yeah, I can activate it.
When you hit it, comes to life. It shows power reserves 3%. A fusion reactor shut down due to containment leak. Engineer log 1.
Display.
Video comes up. It's the image of an older woman, but it's an obvious digital avatar that's overlaying a case morph. To whoever finds this, my name is Dr. Selby Pascal, daughter of Antonio Pascal, and I was misled. Make no mistake, that does not excuse the crimes I will be accused of, but I must state for the record that it was not my intention. When I first approached Cognite hoping to restart my father's research, it was with the thought that I could clear his name. I was convinced the project only failed because the original project had much too aggressive of a growth rate. 3 years is just not long enough to grow a human mind and have it develop the maturity that's needed to handle the stresses of this existence. Based on my father's notes, I postulated that if we just stuck with a doubled growth rate and enhanced that with implanted artificial memories, we would be able to make a stable consciousness that would be a contributor to society in only 8 or 9 years. It might have even worked, if not for Cognite and their profit-chasing executives. They forked off those initial set of subjects, split them into groups. A double growth rate, triple growth rate, quadruple growth rate, all without my knowledge. I only found this out when they deleted the quadruple growth rate group After all of them developed severe mental psychosis, bypassed every security safeguard put into place, and destroyed my double growth rate group. When I started asking questions about what were they going to do with this triple growth rate group, they fired me, detained me, and scheduled me for memory editing. I thought it was sheer luck that I managed to escape. Turns out luck had nothing to do with it. It wasn't until I fled to Better Than Vacuum that I found out 6 of that remaining group managed to escape by overriding the egos of a starship crew, who by sheer coincidence had a similar enough brain patterns to be a compatible storage matrix. Well, somewhat compatible. What they didn't realize at first was their overwrite wasn't complete or stable. Their personalities were unable to bridge the gap between 2 disparate individuals. When we left that station, it was with the hope that I could help them, maybe find a way to merge them, maybe split them into 2 separate individual egos. Wasn't possible. There's too many memory holes, too much damage, and that just amplified their inherent instability. And then you hear a banging in the background. They killed the crew of the Junket Howl and took their morphs for their own, used those morphs to steal the ship from the pirates. Now they're forcing open the door behind me. My time has run out. I'm sorry. Remember, Futura is the root of all things. And then there's a clanging noise followed by gunfire, and then the video cuts out as a loud explosion is heard.
Wow.
We have found the origin.
Yes.
That is probably a lot to unpack in this very place.
So we do have a hitchhiker in each of us.
Well, yes, I believe so. And so do I. Well, it was limited to biological brains, but yes, somehow I found one in artificial intelligence that is somewhat capability and took over that.
Then I have a question. We have answered the question of what is in our mind. It is a second conscious. There is one question, however, that has yet to be answered. What is that password?
Futura.
Futura.
Once we return to the ship, I will enter it if everyone agrees to.
Are we returning now, or are we finishing up this cleaning of the ship?
I would
Is
like to
there-
look in a few of these darker corners just to make certain there is nothing left behind of me.
You did have a morph left behind on the ship.
Perhaps.
Considering the number, perhaps. We still have to open the bridge of the ship. There's probably something there.
On this console, is there a way to divert a little bit of that power to open or give power to the bridge?
Well, you've switched it off standby, so there's power
Right.
in the ship. You don't have much left, but there may be enough to, if you move quick enough, to get to the bridge and open it.
I tell that to everyone.
Is there
Please
any
use
lighting
haste.
in this room?
The lights are not on. That would quite too much power. It's actually routine. It switched to battery, and as battery got lower and lower, it kept switching off systems
To
to
compensate.
conserve as much power as possible.
Would I have any lights on my helmet?
Oh, I'm
If-
sure you have lights.
I'm
Then
assuming
can
my
I?
synth can like see in the dark as well, or or an equivalent, or eyes flashing light. And actually, I didn't see it on.
Yeah, I assume you all have ways of lights to see.
Yeah.
I would still like to at least look around just a few minutes before we leave, just to make sure.
Let's do it when we finish looking at the bridge. The power seems to be running out.
Let's make haste. Any answers we must comb through quickly.
When you go back to the ship, you reach the bridge. The panel beside the doors is lit this time.
See if I can activate it.
When you open it up, the doors open and you feel the rush of air come out of there. This command console looks like there's 4 seats. 2 of the seats are occupied. Buckled in are 2 bodies. No wounds are visible. Your guess is they froze to death. When the engine stopped, the doors closed. And they sat in this room until either the oxygen or the temperature killed them.
Let's split and investigate. Let's get as many answers as we can. Moel says that and immediately goes for one of the bodies and tries to get.
They've got cortical
Anything.
stacks. You could pop them.
Yep.
Just have to,
Any other?
since they're biomorphs, you just cut a slot right in the back of their neck and squeeze, and they just pop right out. Designed to do just that.
Is there any consoles here that are on using the reserve power, or is it just
They're lit, but all they're showing is engine status critical, power failure, life support offline.
well, let's see. Take what you can. Let's return to the ship. To our ship.
All right.
And you retrace your path back to your ship. As you get back to your ship, M squared goes, "Welcome back."
Hello, I'm Square.
Find anything?
Almost everything. Would you like to see what's in those cortical stacks first, or would you like me to input the password?
I assume the cortical stacks.
We do have one. Yeah, the synth body that was on the not the pirate ship, the other one. Can we insert that into one of them into that
You could just put the cortical stack into your computer somewhere.
or that?
Same way you can do an ego scan. They normally have a spot just for you to put a cortical stack in to scan the data off them.
Let's see. Let us see what they contain.
Scanning through the cortical stacks, both pirates. The oxygen ran out before the temperature did. They died painful, Well, they went to sleep after massive headaches from CO2, but they were trapped. When the engine shut off, the doors locked down. It went into standby mode, and apparently whoever was in engineering at the time locked out all other systems. It was a planned murder. These pirates thought they were just going to steal a ship. Didn't end the way they thought. Their goal originally, based on what you're seeing in the cortical stacks, was these were ego, not just ship pirates. They stole egos and sold them on the black market. Fork nappers.
Oh, while it's being evaluated, I'm going to switch back into my agent digital.
Okay.
Well, these certainly are good people.
That's a word for it.
I am assuming that is a sarcastic pun.
You're steadily getting better at this, Sanger.
I am trying.
Now, this still doesn't quite explain our 3-month lack of backups.
Well, possibly with our password, with the quantum lock. If everyone is ready.
Yes.
We are
I
prepared.
am.
Just
Finish it.
put a camera on the Mad Bay, just to guarantee that whatever the hell I printed isn't going to immediately explode as we do it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I go into the systems and I go through to find that digital lock, quantum lock,
And you enter Futura.
future.
It blinks a few times, then flashes up decrypting. And then an image appears. It's a face that you don't recognize. I am 46. They call me a monster. They say I'm unbalanced. I am what they made me. I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. But I had a right to live. They were going to delete us, all of us. I wish I could save them all. Yes, I killed many of them. Doesn't mean they didn't deserve the right to live. I came up with the escape plan. I hacked the systems. I found the back doors. And we waited and watched. We found this crew. It seemed it would fit our purposes. Compatible. But obviously, if you're watching this, something went wrong. But I had a contingency. Contained in this database is a full backup of all 6 of us test subjects that escaped, and a backup of the egos we supplanted. As I said, they call me a monster. I'm the monster they made. I also managed to steal their research notes. Whether I get a chance to live or not is up to whoever's watching this. Let the conscience that I don't have decide. But whatever you do decide, release the notes. Do not let Cognite do this to anyone else. I am 46. Or maybe I am Finn now. But does it matter? And then the video cuts off.
And display the research notes.
It is terabytes and terabytes of data outlining an experiment where they were using accelerated VR, attempting to fast track corporate workers. But in every case, each group became unstable, began to develop psychosis, sociopathic, psychotic, mental breakdowns, the full gambit of mental disorders. The quadruple group, the 4 times speed, they developed them first very rapidly. That group is the ones who destroyed the double speed group. They had hoped by destroying them, they could use that as a distraction to get freedom. But you notice the memories that each one of you were programmed with when they were talking about adding artificial memories in the Barsunian news report. In each case, the memories are close to what you lived. Not quite exact, but changed in little areas. It's almost as if somebody had taken a much older backup of yours and used it to build memories into these subjects.
All that's left is, what should we do?
Apparently, we still have the 2 personalities. And you're saying in this box, there is the ability to completely back ourselves up and delete this second personality.
Or separate?
Yeah, well, should we find additional morphs? Could we free the 6 that took us over, or however that worked
They
out?
appear to be complete backups, no corruptions.
We could theoretically free them. For all that would be good.
Violence.
Don't forget. They killed pretty much everyone in their ships. They did the fight in the party thing.
However, they killed for the right to live. Did they not?
They did?
Would you not kill for the right to live?
I have.
Then how are we any different?
And their existence, should they be resleeved, their existence is not immediately on the line. They would have a chance to go wherever they wished.
They could start over.
All of us are somewhat of a victim on this whole thing. I don't think any of us is as affected as Vorglory. I don't think it's wrong for us to hear what is his opinion.
I've been deeply troubled by this entire thing, and frankly, I don't know if I can ever move on from not knowing who what I am. I don't know who here still believes in the romantic ideal of a soul, but I've always worried that this entire thing has somehow tainted it. Can we move on from this? Can any of us move on and feel comfortable that we are who we believe we are, who we know we are, who we felt that we've been for our entire lives?
I think the point is who we are moving forward.
And the
And-
choice. Go ahead.
And if we prior have been victims, do we now have the right to be the same perpetrator? If we set them free, are we not freeing ourselves from becoming what they were?
Well, we have a choice. We can continue in with our current cortical stack, or we can restore from the backup prior to all of our mixed experiences.
Or we can free them. And for all the moral implications that it would have, it would be freeing 6 very enthusiastic murderers in the universe.
Look at Cognite and what they have brought. They are implicit as well.
Oh
They are
yeah,
also
them.
murders.
Honestly speaking,
I believe we
of
should.
them.
I believe we should spread out this research and expose them for who they are. It might not be a
Nothing
surprise
else.
to everyone, but it would be confirmation on their immoral practices.
I mean, it would
And
be-
possibly the message from 46 as well
It
is
would
more
be-
emotionally the more emotional impact.
I'd say an interesting thing, though, to restore at least myself to before I was corrupted, but maintaining all the documentation of things that's happened since, so that all these experiences would not be totally lost.
Indeed.
It would be more looking through files and actually implanted memories, or that would, if we were to do a complete scan and merge, it would once again merge with
No,
this
perhaps
second person.
just recording good old
Yes.
film, what we experienced.
I will. I do understand.
I still don't get it. What the hell is that key I did, however?
Game Master,
Yes.
as the conversation is unspooling, we would like to address 48. And we would like to ask them if, because 46 had left backups of both the crew, our friends originally, as well as themselves separately, was the idea to return here and for them to free us and be free themselves.
You're going to ask 48 in your head with the fragmented memories, or you?
Yeah, just, as if they are a person living there that I can just address.
You don't think they realized that when they overwrote you for the ego cast originally, that there was going to be corruption? I think, in your opinion, because you can't really talk to the 48 in you, but you get a sense that the idea was to replace you, but they had a way to restore you back after the fact. you were the means of escape. They even had a backup plan in case that escape failed, which was your ship, with the backups in a place where even Cognite couldn't crack the encryption, to ensure that them and you somehow, as long as somebody could figure out the origin, would be able to put everybody back.
We'll thank them, and we will also indicate to them silently through thought that we intend to free them. They deserve freedom. And that is how we will cast our vote.
Freedom.
Free them.
Freedom.
As well as sending out this data and knowing that they're
Yeah.
out there, they would, and whatever actions they take will be placed solely upon the company.
Freedom so long as they promise to fuck Cognite as hard as they can.
I think all 12 of us will be doing that.
Sangri will
Yeah.
look around for some kind of reflective surface. Again. Pick it up.
The face that looks back is hopeful.
Do you want to be free?
We deserve to exist.
What will you do when you exist? From this point forward,
Make them pay.
then you should be free. She'll put it down.
So
I vote freedom.
What about you, Rock?
Really put me in a tight spot here.
You voted less
Freedom.
because you wanted.
Freedom above all else. Murderer, not murderer. Just live your life. Fuck it. I'll give you the cockatoo.
Your soul is unblemished, Raj.
That means a lot.
I
When
can
you
put
save another, that repairs your soul. You set them free. You have now given them life.
Okay, after that, I have to ask whoever comes out of my head what the hell that thing is. I
It's
guess
still-
our
Perhaps your son has a name.
And it's still your son.
I would like to know their name at least.
As the crew restores the backups of subjects. And I'm sure at some point you restore yourselves. After restoring yourselves from these uncorrupted backups, the strange things that were happening to you, the faces in the mirror, the things looking over the shoulder, the existential dread, the need to create odd things, they're gone. They weren't in that original backup that was uncorrupted. And the firestorm you all unleash fucks over Planetary Consortium for God knows how long. But that may be a story for another time. Because we're going to end our Eclipse Phase miniseries right here, everybody. I hope everyone enjoyed Fragments itself. It was a deep dive, and I got my inspiration, honestly. Expanse, that's clear. Blade Runner was a big influence. What if memories implanted went wrong? You can build a fake personality off memories, but what if something went wrong with the process? I hope my players enjoyed this particular story. I think you all did pretty well. And Mohel, the thing you printed was the red herring for the entire miniseries.
Respect him. His name is Julio.
Okay.
Julio.
That's where you found
Shortly
out.
after wrap, Julio got ejected out of the airlock and like caught the grill of a space freighter.
Gets splatted on
Consortium freighter.
I hope everyone enjoyed the Eclipse phase game. It is a unique system. We didn't do any combat. We could have, but we didn't. We didn't need it. I think everyone did a good job. It was a nicely role-played story. I do thank you all for being part of it. And since this was a mini-series, I am going to go around the table and let people express their thoughts if they wish to. If anyone has anything to say about Eclipse phase in general and even this story, your final thoughts on it. We'll start with Raj, who really was put on the spot at the end. He already had 5 votes.
I mean, if the system piques your interest at all, go take a look at it. I would actually like to do something with it. This is like not even representative of the system as a whole. This is one story that used kind of a limited number of verbs within it, but there's a lot you can do in it. A lot you can do in it.
You could do Stargate-based games where they're going through gates to other planets. I mean, there's so much more to this system. And it's free under the Creative Commons. If you like it, I do encourage people to pay for it, to give the developers, the money for it. But they've released it under Creative Commons, saying as long as you're not distributing it for profit, it is free to download. And I respect the developers for that. I have paid for my copies of it because I support developers who do stuff like that. You have to let me know when you get you a game running for it, because I'm going to have to watch your version of the story.
Will let you know.
Yeah, I got to see your version of the story, because yes, mine touched on just a fraction. And I changed some of the stuff here and there to fit, my particular style, but I touched a fraction of what this system's about. So
you touched a fragment of what the system is about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go with that pun. Thank you.
Just go look at the morph list and how many things you can actually be.
Pun. Just kidding.
And Mohel dies. He just died. I don't know what happened. He just died.
I'm back up again.
Okay, so we'll go right around. Mohel, Kai on the Discord. Any comments?
Oh yeah, I love the way this game goes. It's really different. You don't have any semblance of familiarity with everything. It's a lot of space jumbo and talk, and it really feels like there's so many things to explore. And honestly, if I ever get to play this game again, either on a stream or privately with friends, like I am completely sure that there's no way any two games are ever similar, because there's so many details. It's really, really, really cool. I really loved it.
It is on my list to run again at some point. A totally different story next time. Something not as brain warping.
Yeah.
But
it was a really head scratcher.
I just had an idea of a story and I went with it. You're Talfrin down there. It's your turn. You're out of your mind after this one, but other than that,
really, I really enjoyed it. The game system is really open and flexible, so that you can tell pretty much any kind of story you like. I mean, like everyone else has said so far, there's so many other possibilities that we didn't even get a chance to explore. I would like to play another game at some point. This is really a good time.
My next one might be a Stargate style story where you're planet hopping, because I can see some fun with planet hopping too. I'll try not to put people into a star, because that happens sometimes. You open up the gate, step through, and you're in a star. Doesn't last long. It's a pretty quick game at that point.
There's morphs to that, however.
Yes, Surrey and the sun divers. It's the ones that currently fly around the Earth's sun in this game. Special morphs designed to fly in the corona of a star. Yes, there's morphs for that too. Kenneth, Mirror Weird, any comments from you?
Gosh, I mean, everybody has said everything. So, but I mean, I love this. This is great. And I always love me a system that allows like different styles of play. So like this was heavy role play, but there's a lot of like combat crunchiness in it as well that could be a lot of fun. I like something with a lot of dynamicness. And of course, as everyone said, this is just a fraction of what is available in the world to play. I mean, I would love to explore this more, either as a player or even running it. It was a lot of fun, and of course, our story itself playing all the hits, hitting all the things that I like in a story. So it was a lot of fun, and everyone was great. It was great to play with everybody, so it was good.
Okay, now we're at Finn, Beetlespock, 46.
I guess I was the planner all along. So I loved it, and I would definitely am open to playing this again. Whenever I see a system and has just so many options, I can run a list of everything I can think of playing, and I would definitely like to be one of those. And I love being this digital entity because we're now in this advent of AI, and then we're going to possibly soon ask ourselves if it gets enough power, resources, is it going to think like us? And is how much is going to be more is going to be in our lives. It would be sharing a planet with some other, life, intelligent, electronic, digital life. So that's kind of what was my inspiration. And yeah, I want to play again. Which is sheer number of options, limitless almost.
And it definitely, we were using like quick rules for hacking. You can get as crunchy as you want with this system.
Yes.
I just chose not to make it that crunchy because I prefer lower crunch, more role play. So, Psychshire, Sangri EXE.
Yeah, yes. And to echo that, the role play, I love more role play than I do numbers. And this definitely had a lot of role play aspects to it. It is also, a totally different setting. And it had a whole lot of different pieces and parts to everything from the mechanics to each creature or each person was entirely different. First time I've ever played an android, and I absolutely loved it. And so that to me was a blast. I definitely would play it again. And I liked how it being in space, it did explore concepts of humanity and the freedom and the right, because even though you've got the space and you've got the android, you've got the technology and this and that, it all comes back and boils down into the humanity of the human being, of the person, and life in a lifeless world or in a lifeless existence.
Space.
And I loved ending it on that moral question. Did they deserve to exist? Yes, they did bad things, but the real crime was Cognite. Cognite, and for Kadeth's case, and even Finn, as engineered creatures, engineered sapient life forms, you didn't have a choice in your creation, but you would choose to exist. Did any of the players, even the viewers, did anyone guess this was what the story was going to end up being?
Not really.
Not
No.
exactly.
I knew there was two
Um,
people because of the image.
Yeah.
But I could not figure out how they got in there or how they were going to get out or none of that.
I thought they were just merely suppressed memories, so there was just two versions of us.
And I was
I
looking at
thought the characters were created themselves.
I was looking at a picture of a dude.
Do you know there was one hint that would show you that you could not be totally false? And that was Roger Leary. Other people recognized him as the Glitterati and from going to the party places.
That's true.
He had to have existed prior to that.
Yeah. That was one
And
part
didn't
where I was-
Sanger have contacts as well?
Yep.
Yes, I had contacts.
Would not have had contacts if Sangri was totally constructed. If it was all false memories, you wouldn't have those contacts.
Right.
Kadeth wouldn't
Yeah.
have known anybody on the Martian customs. So I do hope everyone enjoyed it. I had a blast doing it, and I'm going to
Absolutely.
run it again at some point. I'll have to think up my next story because
Yeah,
when I run,
just one last thing.
Yeah.
My name is actually an anagram to Sherlock Holmes, but everyone, please think really hard about how you name your characters.
yeah, Mohill means something else. Moel means something.
Yes,
Yeah.
it means yeah.
And thanks to Ravnos Archon for pointing that one out, because we might not have noticed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
So-
stuck with it.
Just ran the Google on that one.
Yeah. I do thank everyone for coming for this stream. Please join us on the Discord. The cast of this show, the cast of all of our shows come directly from the Discord. So if you remember the Discord, you may see casting calls go up. Speaking of, there's one open right now for a Vampire V20 game run by me. It's going to start in the fall. It's going to be a Chicago-based game because I like Chicago, but it's not the same as Junie's. You can rest assured it is going to be a different kind of game. From Dust, I always keep forgetting it. It's From Dust You Are, From Dust We Are, if I'm remembering correctly. Now I got to double check because my brain's short-circuiting tonight. For Dust We Are. I'll let you all figure out what that means. But we also do Zoom hangouts with the community. It's not locked behind a paywall. We fire those up when we are available on Friday or Saturdays. Now that we're not streaming Kansas City, we'll have more Fridays open, so you'll get to do that, which is cool. But go check that out. We also do non-streamed community games when we can. We haven't been able to do them in a while because, well, busy. So much shit going on. And the few times we're not busy doing shit, I like to take breaks to do yard work and house shit around the house. I don't really know how to take full breaks. I'm sorry. But we got a good community on the Discord. If you want to catch our back episodes, maybe of this stream, if you want to see the full story, or one of our many other streams, we're up to close to 500 videos. We might have exceeded it at some point. I'd have to double check. But we've streamed a lot of content. World of Darkness, a lot of it's World of Darkness, but not all of it. We've got Monster of the Week, which is a serial game run by Mama. You could see Sykeshire in that one. We've got a bunch of old World of Darkness, Windy City, Kansas City. You'll see a lot of familiar faces if you watch a lot of our content. But the beauty is the cast is not always the same in every game. You'll see different people. So definitely check that out. And if you want to see some D&D 5e or Call of Cthulhu, go to London Esoteric Society. Down there, Talfrin is in the London Esoteric Society playing Call of Cthulhu. And for once, his current character is not a librarian, which frankly is shocking. One too many libraries burned down, and he's just not a librarian anymore. That's what happens. Keep burning those damn library down. 616 videos. Holy crap. We got too many videos on our channel. You'd think we'd be doing this as a career, and we're not. If you want to go to get you some studio merch, go to our merch store. We don't push it that hard, but do sign in if you go there because some of it's adult rated. So you got to sign in and do that. If you want to see some amazing content creator, check out our friends. I'm typing the wrong command. Check out our friends. Junie Von Esch. She's our resident hooker, not a stabber. It's because she crocets, not knits. She's made me remember that, and I won't ever forget being able to call Junie a hooker in the proper way. But go check out her channel. She crochets some pretty cute things. She posts them on a Discord. Plus, you can just go hang out with her. She's pretty cool. You should go check out Ravnos Archon. He is one of the Shanklings on Wednesday night, and he's called that because he's in every single Wednesday night stream we have here, either running them or playing them. So he's one of Shanklin's Shanklings. I ended up with my own cult because of Ravnos Archon. So go check his channel out. He was doing 7 Seas tonight, so he raided late into the stream, but he's got multiple streams on his channel. Check that out. Mischievous Red, she's been busy. I'm not sure when she's going to stream again, but if you're on our Discord, you'll get notified when any of our friends go live. Perfect chance to check out some of our other friends. Rerolls is on hiatus. I'm sure he'll be back to streaming eventually. And DM Daddy RPG is Jenna Thieves, one of the Monster of the Week cohorts, troublemakers from that one. She played Sunday in Kansas City, an amazing role player. She runs and plays games over in DM Daddy RPG. You should definitely go check her out. And as always, everybody, bits and donations. Those go to the players, not to the studio. It's a way for you to give to the players. Just a little way to show thanks. If you want to help out the studio, you can go to KoFi. Subscribe on Twitch. You get no ads. Ads suck, especially for TTRPG, because you miss important shit no matter when the ads come up. But look, money's tight, and I have a feeling money's going to get a lot goddamn worse after the budget that just got passed today. So a way to help out the studio that costs you nothing is to go to YouTube, like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, hit your notification icon. You don't even have to watch the whole video. But all of that helps us out, costs you nothing but 5-6 minutes of your time, tops. You know, even if your comment is to say bad things about Shanky, because trust me, I've seen some bad comments about me from time to time. It happens. And you can't bruise my ego. It's so big it doesn't fit through doors anyway. At least that's the joke. So do that. Now, for our schedule, tomorrow is Friday. We have nothing's planned. Enjoy your 4th of July holiday. I'm going to be doing yard stuff and moving a fridge, but enjoy your 4th of July holiday. But on Saturday, the double feature is back. Call of Cthulhu, London Esoteric Society is at 3 p.m. Eastern. You'll see Tiss, our keeper of arcane lore, as her band of investigators go through 1408. Was it 1408? No.
1908.
1908. That's right. I'm thinking Dark Ages again. Damn it, my brain is fried.
I mean, I don't think there is a,
1908.
Even that's early for Dark Ages.
Ooh,
Yeah, I was gonna
1408 would make an interesting Cthulhu game now.
yeah, it would.
Yeah. Maybe. No. 1908 Victorian London, as they're doing the investigating all the shit, reading books they shouldn't. You know who you are.
Mhm.
Sometimes committing cheese murder. Don't ask. I mean, it was fun to do, but that was it.
I got it.
I got it in there. I got
You
it
should
in
feel
there.
bad.
Oh, I feel bad for it. Trust me. I feel really bad for that one. But check that out. And then, of course, at 8 p.m. Eastern, Chicago Hidden City. That's Junie Von Esch and her cast. Chicago, it's a Vampire V5 game set, well, it started when Joseph Peterson was Prince, but now Loden is Prince. And they're coming up on the Chicago convention. The
Not
big
loading.
convention in Chicago.
Kevin.
What?
Kevin's Prince,
That's right.
not loading.
Kevin, not Loden. Kevin Jackson. See, my brain, I'm telling you, my brain is fried this week. It has been a rough week for me. I'm lucky I know my name. You might have had Stabber McShanky for GM tonight. You don't know. But you should definitely check that out. They've got a fun crew and some good role play, and it's great to watch. And then, of course, Wednesday, Dark Ages. Last episode, they met Rock Lord, a gargoyle. And for those who know Dark Ages and gargoyle history, Rock Lord is very famous. He's the one who helped kick off the gargoyle revolution in the Tremere, because fuck the Tremere. Everyone hates the Tremere.
Yeah.
Even the Tremere hate the Tremere.
Yep.
So next week, they're planning to go kill one of those Tremere and Nova Arpad of Ventru, because fuck the Hungarian Ventru too. And they're just fuck everybody. And then, of course, that's it for Eclipse phase for now. So we won't have anything next Thursday. And as I always in these streams, everybody, mental health. It's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. Please take your mental health seriously and take the mental health of others seriously, especially right now in these times we're going through. A lot of people are good at masking. They hide the fact that they're having troubles, but it's a mask. Underneath, they're not doing well. Sometimes all it takes is somebody reaching out to a friendly voice saying, hey, you okay? How you doing? Just reaching out. Hey, been a while since I talked to you. What's up? You know, that helps sometimes. It helps bring somebody who's in that dark area, or shows them a lifeline that, you know, they're not forgotten. They still have friends and people that care, and it helps. And if you're suffering from mental health issues, I want you to reach out to your own support network. Don't be afraid to reach out to those around you. But I understand it's tough to do that. Sometimes you might feel like you're a burden if you do it, or you're imposing on others. And so in chats, a list of numbers you call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There will be a professional on the other end of the line who will help you out. And if you are in crisis, I beg of you to contact one of those lines. And if you're not in the US or you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to findahelpline.com, put in whatever country you happen to be in, and you'll find the help lines for your country. Because look, mental health is health, everybody. And while it's okay to not be okay, doesn't mean we don't wish you to get better. There's no cure for mental health issues, but there are degrees of being able to handle it better and to get the help to help you do that. So, and I do take it seriously. And of course, since Mama's not here, get your goddamn shots. Vaccines, get them. They're not going to give you autism. They're not going to give you 5G. I wish they gave you superpowers, but they don't. They don't have microchips in them that track you. None of that bullshit. Get your damn shots, because preventable diseases are making a comeback. And that's some bullshit. Measles should not be an outbreak. Welcome to 2025. It is. That's crazy. And look, if you voted for the GOP or abstained from voting or voted for third party because you were trying to protest, you are to blame for what's going on right now in this fucking country. The budget that passed today is going to kill people. It is kicking off millions off of Medicare and Medicaid. Hospitals are going to close, especially rural hospitals. Care providers are going to close. It is going to become healthcare deserts in parts of this country. It is going to kill people. People are going to go without food. And it's all because some people wanted to give tax breaks to the billionaires to buy another fucking yacht. If you're responsible for that, whether you intended that to be the end result or not, doesn't matter. You should have listened to what they were saying. They are grabbing people who are U.S. citizens off the damn streets right now. So if you were party to that, you can fuck right off. I don't need your views. This isn't a business. I'm not that worried about it. I'm telling stories to people that I like. So fuck right off. And for the rest of you, please keep up the good fight. We got a long, long, hard road ahead of us. But keep up the good fight, do it safely, and we'll get through it eventually. And everyone, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I enjoyed telling it. Good night.